Alright, we're doing a... I think it's just like 2800 or 3k. Review, this is a... We're actually doing a TvZ from the Terran's perspective. Terran's definitely not my strong suit, but he's just curious about what happened here. It was just some Ling damage came across the map and then into hydralisks and then into lurkers all of a sudden. That hatch is really late. I'm wondering, is it because, yeah, the pull was done like 10 seconds ago. He's going for a really quick speed. Making SCVs during this? Not really. We've got the orbital coming down, that's all good. So we can only make one SCV at a time. Looks like we're going for Hellions. I think we're a little bit late with this. Oh, that's a nice little gap in there. I didn't realise that was a gap. I would be getting... This is very similar to a silly little thing I used to do, where I would like flood some speedlings and then just go into like hydralisks or something out in the back of it. You can see the Lings there. I wonder at what point you're going to head out there, and I actually think the Banshee would be better off on the other side of the map. No, he has got a spore though. But this is a very minimal Zerg, right? This is two queens and then hydras. Nothing major is missing from the Terran side of things that we need to worry about. No third. So no third should be ringing alarm bells for you. If you're ever in a TvZ or a PvZ, no third is a really big sign. You're getting two bases all in, and so the question should be, what am I getting two bases all in by? And so I think honestly, with the amount of energy you're floating, it's probably worth just like scanning and seeing what he's doing with his tech. Evolution chamber. He didn't really rush into the lurkers either. I think we're pausing the Hellions too quickly. We could probably just give them another second or two before we move them on. We need to fix this saturation. 7 SCVs that aren't doing anything. These aren't making units. There's a lot here that's just a lot of idle production that isn't working, right? So you've lost all the Hellions, but you're not making... Oh no, you didn't lose all the Hellions, but you're not making new Hellions to replace. We're stacking SCVs here because they're not rallied for some reason, even though the bases rally as a default. We did get a scan off, that's really cool. We built a bunker, but we don't have any units. Like, it's kind of a little bit of an unfortunate moot point. Like a siege tank, yeah, here we go. Just siege it. It's still stuck, isn't it? Just siege it. He killed the natural, here he comes for the third. At this stage, you're very far behind without some sort of like bigger game plan happening. I don't see a way to come back from this. He's taken his third, but he's killed so much stuff. Terran should never really be this far behind. whenever hydras, a good thing to think about, right? Whenever hydras come out, hydras actually aren't really good fighters, but lurkers are. And so the next step is almost always going to be lurkers, right? So when you do see hydralisks being used like this, your next thought should automatically go straight into lurkers, because that's just the natural progression of things, right? If Protoss builds a robo, the next step is probably going to be a Colossus or Disruptors or something, right? It's not going to be... It's very rarely going to be just like pure Immortal that's coming out of there. There's better options depending on what you're playing. I think you're just real far behind here, and it's going to be real hard to... Oh, don't siege on the friggin' supply depot. Oh no. So you've sieged on the supply depot, which means that you obviously can't close up the door when you need to, which is a huge problem. You've got double eBay, which have stopped making upgrades. You could have easily afforded with the cash you've got, and you could probably also afford to be making upgrades there too. So don't fight this, just siege up. Pull back. Probably didn't have to pull back both tanks, but that's, yeah. I just think this is a simple case of just... the production wasn't here. You had a lot of production, you just weren't using it. The amount of units you lost dictates that you probably could have held if you just were making units more consistently. The fact that it took you so long to get your first tank out after seeing hydras the way you did. The wall was bad as well. Like there was no real... The wall just didn't make any sense. The wall just didn't make sense. So little things like that definitely add up to just having a real bad time. I've got another one here, 3500 ZvP. Played a friendly here and was basically the story of most of my ZvPs. I do fine, maybe get a bit caught off guard by a build, but I feel like I build a decent army and then I just can't beat my opponent's army. It feels super tanky. Oh, I know M the Great. He's on the Discord as well, ironically. Oh, that's how they probably know each other. They probably played the friendly through Discord. Standard opening. We saw the probe come in. I don't know if he saw that, but I saw the probe come in for sure. We saw the probe look at the hatchery. So far, nothing too sus. But what would worry me is if... Oh no, he's got an overlord over the top. I didn't notice that. So he's going to catch the probe leaving. So the only thing we need to worry about is the probe getting into like a blind spot down here or something like that. We would definitely be seeing that. Where's our queens? Here we go. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong tab. That's my bad. Interesting. We really want the overlords. We want the overlords. Pretend these are like Hellions, right? Adepts and Hellions. We want the overlords to give us further vision so we can see rotations. The closer he gets the Adepts and the Hellions to creep without us knowing, the more dangerous it is for us, right? Because the shade gets a lot more extra length out of it. and it creates a wider threat, right? So if he gets to here and shades, he can get into the main, but he can't do that from out here. He's playing very safe with the shade. What I really don't like is we probably lost our opportunity here to actually get a good scout off with, with this Overlord, simply because he went into a Stalker. But is there still no proper wall? Oh, it's a wall enough, yeah. And so this is something that I think a lot of people struggle with the concept of, is up until like this point, Protoss can make probes just as quickly as you can make drones. So until you get to a third base and start having that production, you're only going to be able to barely keep up. So we should see, if he's holding down the drone key as much as he should be, this is a long gap between. That's an excellent scout. I think the sort of 4:30 slot, considering you didn't see anything else, right? You saw nothing else until this scout went in. You played very blind. You played with no spore, one queen in each base. You are begging to get oracled, because an oracle swims in here and will just delete an entire field of drones by itself. A single queen will get deleted in like 6 seconds, I think, or that. So like without an extra queen, you've got one extra queen here for DPS, which doesn't have transfuse energy. So like each one of these queens is in a prime position to get absolutely nuked, and having those spores would have prevented this. So the best thing for you is to, I would say, you want to hunker down a little bit. We've got the spore. I don't know why the spore's all over here when the Dark Templar will be able to get into the ramp and create problems. We have one queen. We have literally like a handful of units that can attack ground. And here we go. So the queens just get dropped, right? The Zerglings don't need to be on the map right now. They need to be at home. You need to be watching this. So now that he's gone home, he's floating a ton of money as well, but he's evened up the game so hard. He's literally lost nothing, and you've lost like 2 minutes worth of resources, a minute and a half worth of resources for nothing. So you've double expanded behind it, which is great. Into the Archons, fantastic stuff. So what's the game plan here? We've got 7 roaches. We haven't got speed, but where are we going with it? And now the Protoss is actually starting to keep up or get ahead of us in worker economy. He's got his 3rd down. Our 3rd got cancelled. Sure, we have a 4th base potentially, but it's not really the same. We invested now into these overseers. We can't use them. Almost got that Archon, which would have been fantastic. We see him coming down here. I would love to see this Overlord more tucked into here and into here, but luckily for us, he kind of picks the ones, like 1 pixel in vision that we can see. We're attacking, but our army just like kind of moved across the map in a single file. Like, watch these Lings, right? The Lings didn't kill a single thing. All those Lings with these roaches, you probably had a good chance of killing something. But all those Lings just ran in and died before the roaches were even close. The roach speed is almost done. So you were very close there to having some sort of timing, and you've thrown it away. We're watching this instead of building units right now. We need to be panic building units. We need to be injecting our bases, getting ready for this, which is good. The injects are coming, that's great. But we are not prioritizing spending lava. We have already spent some lava, but 12 Lings is not going to touch this. I'm surprised the game doesn't just end here. He probably maybe kills the hatchery and goes home just to play it safe. Oh, you get him just before it. Good targeting. So now there's only like a couple of small units left. Absolutely demolish it. This is your cue to drone up. Because as we can see here, we're falling behind now. We're falling behind quite heavily. We've evened up. And here we go. We've done it again, right? Yeah. Wait. Where are we going? Wait. Oh, classic stuff. Always worth putting a couple of we should be biling down this. We should be biling down this, and then biling down this, and then this base has no buildings left. He's lost 4 gateways in like 14 seconds because of the biles. He also doesn't have a shield battery active, and he also doesn't have the capacity to warp in around here without those pylons. This is really good though. This is really good stuff. Did we clean up the zealots? We must have. I wish we were just... We're biling down... We're trying to bile down the immortals, which I just don't think is it. I think you just take guaranteed damage on a unit instead of trying to force damage. He's not even spending his money, man. Imagine if he was spending his money, you'd be in big trouble. So you're sitting on 51 drones. Let's have a look. Trades aren't in the Protoss' favor, which is really good. To bring this back to a point where you're kind of ahead is fantastic. It's just that, like, what is your winning condition here? For me, my winning condition would be lurkers right here. Has he got units in the wall? He hasn't right now, but he's also taking a 4th that we have no idea about, which is a huge danger, right? We don't want to let them take bases for free, because once the bases are up, the cannons and battery go up, and it becomes real hard to start killing them. Has he got Storm already done? Storm's already done. So now this is going to come down to a lot of like multi... I just don't think we can fight this with the economy we've got. This again as well, right? I think killing these two when we came in for that last attack, biling down these pylons almost first, would have hindered his production so heavily, literally halved his gateway count. I think you'd be actually in a really good spot behind the back of this. You've got 2-2 and he's got 2 up, which is good. I'd love to see the changelings go out. Where are we sending them? I would actually love to see a changeling here in the wall and send it to any bases you think. Is this an older replay or is this a current map? I guess it's not on the ladder though, is it? This might be too much. This is why we need lurkers, right? If all of that was lurkers, or if even like half of that was lurkers, huge difference to how that fight goes. But because all of your units are attacking single units, Zerglings just aren't trading well versus that. Even the Immortals are 2-shotting the Lings. Everything here is like 2-shotting a Ling. And he's also got, like, he could also have Storms coming soon as well to like limit the amount of DPS you're going to get from Lings. So I think having the changelings in, sending the changelings through to find out what he's doing would be a good first step, and then finding a location to attack. You don't have to keep attacking the same location just because it exists. So this is right, we want to do what we can to keep him from coming up the ramp. We're getting a lurk at them, but I'm just worried there's going to be too little too late. Because this army does not beat his army. And especially when the zealots get there, it's too much. We do get the run by damage, but it's GG. I think you played kind of blind here, and like not even blind. Wait, he made a Stargate but didn't make a single like air unit. Anyway, you played pretty blind here, and then the lack of queens, and then the lack of a spore, until you already had the DTs, is a huge problem. Queens, if you're not seeing anything and he's not taking a third base quickly, I would be really worried about exactly something like this happening. Because Protoss tend to want to expand and Terrans tend to want to expand when you're on your side of the map defending, right? So this is the prime time for you to expand. If you don't feel like your units can beat whatever he's got, either they can't see it or they just can't fight it well, like say it's like a bunch of Archons and you've got a handful of Lings, send them across the other side of the map. Worst case scenario, you'll see if they're expanding. Number 2, you might actually be able to get a cancel on that, like he got a cancel on you. Because look at this, right? As soon as he sees that that's going well, He drops down a Nexus, a pylon. You do see it actually. Oh no, do we? We see it, but then we have to come home because the Dark Templar in our face is killing drones. We're kind of never ahead again until we start taking good fights, but the transition of your army was just not there. We need to be moving into lurkers quicker, way quicker than that, and moving into hive quicker than that if we want to make that those things happen. Let's see if I've got one more. I think I might have a couple that I wanted to look at. As you can see here, this is 2800 Zerg. I've moved my little followers thing from up top into here, just so we can see like the actual production tab properly. Oh no, I need to move it further down. Just hold on a sec. There we go. This is ZvT, I think. No, I think this is ZvT. I think it's a ZvT, what we say, 2800. And I think he's just struggling, honestly, with just Terran as it is. Aren't we all? If you're out there and you're not struggling with Terran, let me know. Send me your builds. Maybe it's time I do something proper. So far the timing's down. The timing of everything here is better than I've seen some Diamond Zergs do. So we're off to a good start. When the first like 3 buildings go down well timed, we're already starting strong. Double queens. Have we got Ling speed coming? Beautiful. We're not pulling off drones. Now, we didn't see a Reaper, or we haven't seen a Reaper yet. So that's probably a cue for us to drone like mad. Or you could all in off the back of this if you really wanted to, because he's got no Reaper, he's not going to see anything coming. So I guess there's a couple of options there. Inject. So far so good. We're droning up like mad. We're just about to hit like another 8 drones. I quite like this so far. We see no third. This is good that we've got vision over here for a Hellion rotation or for a drop or anything, but we have no idea what's going on in the actual base right now. This tank is incredibly defensive. This whole setup is defensive. No starport. But we don't know any of that. Which is a problem in itself, right? Because Terran can just sit back now, make a shit ton of army or whatever, and just wait for us to headbutt into them. And that's not what we want to be doing. But it tends to be what we do. We're taking a third gas, which I don't mind. Honestly. Double upgrades, please. Bing bing. Excellent stuff. A lot of this stuff is going really well so far. We've got Overlord speed, which is something different. See how our money's ticking up real fast though. Oh, lots of Marines. Our money's ticking up fast. We should be spending our lava during this. We shouldn't be watching that Overlord. And when we spend our lava, spend all of it. Don't hold back. There's no reason to ever hold back on your lava spending. With the amount of Marines we saw though, I would love to see like a Ling or two out here, maybe a Ling or two here, even an Overlord, so you can see a push coming across the map. Because if he does push across the map, it's going to be something like 4 tanks and like 30 Marines. It's going to absolutely cause mayhem if you get caught in the wrong spot with it. You've got your 1-1 finished before he has his 1-1, which is fantastic. He's chasing your Overlord. You can see that the medevacs are coming out. 1 medevac each side. Very interesting. Now we've got spines here, but the problem is we don't have a spore here. And I would love to see vision of. It's a weird area of the map, right? To have this little like this is like built. This feels built for Terran to just drop in here and stim straight into the third or whatever. And an Overlord can't really be safe in this dead space, but I'd still like to see an Overlord like here-ish. So if they hug this back end really well, you still see it. If they go through the middle, you still see it. He's timing this really well. He's just kind of dropping on the spore. Not the best. And then he multi-prongs by flying this into the spore as well. The spore handles that pretty well. The drone should clean this up, but the Ling's going to clean up anyway. And so, just as a point of reference, you've lost a Queen and some Lings, and he's lost 2 medevacs and a whole bunch of Marines. You're miles ahead right now. You're miles ahead, and you've got money to spare. I'd be hitting the drone key real hard, because right now you're kind of keeping ahead, kind of keeping even with him, but we need to do more, right? Building a bunch of Lings and attacking into him is not the way to do that, because all that's going to do is force you to have to make more stuff. And I just don't. Nah, that was the worst trade. Oh my god! Don't ever run Banelings into Thors like that. One Thor, of all things, like if you had a bunch of Thors together, even then I still think it's a really bad trade, right? Look here, we're going to kill some stuff over here, so it's going to skew the numbers a little bit. But we're going to lose. We're going to lose almost 2,000 resources to take out 1,000 resources. Which isn't so bad if you're ahead by a shit ton. But that 1,000 resources could have killed all these depots. You probably could have crushed this as well. You could have absolutely like taken this base apart. I think you're still going to be okay. But the problem I see is that we're just going to keep building Lings behind this. We're making Banes. We could have just killed this as it was. We didn't need to make Banes here. We're still floating tons of money. Are we going to wait for the planetary to finish? We should be taking every base on the map at this stage. You take this base, you take this base, take this base, this base, this base, this base. Whatever it is, you've got enough money to take all those bases. You keep droning up and you just take all your gases and stuff as well. You go to 5 or 6 bases worth of mining. Make sure we keep pumping out our upgrades. We're getting another hatchery. Where's our layer? Is it on here? Yeah, I would love to see us heading into Hive so we can get into lurkers and stuff. I don't want to see the Banes go first. The Banes should never go first for that reason. The tanks do way too well against Banes. And now you're playing against Bio. You've wasted all your Banes twice. You've wasted like That had to be like 60 Banes to get pretty much bugger all done because of a tank and a couple of Thors. Here we are down here causing mayhem. I love this. But as you can see, we keep losing our army while Terran's maxing out his army because he's not copying the same losses that you are. You're floating so much money and you haven't got a lot of gas. Like, you're not Rayner, you can't afford to be sitting on 5,000 resources with nothing gas-wise in the bank. Like, these are very bad trades to kill like a handful of vehicle units because the Banes were just charging in. If he attacks on your side of the map, you can absolutely crush him with what you've got. But what worries me is he's almost maxed and you're nowhere near. I'm going to go into here, just delete that instantly. That's beautiful. Don't have to run in here. Please don't go for the... Yes. This is a great attack. That's huge damage. Again, you lost a lot of stuff, but that's okay. Are we keeping our injects going, by the way? Yeah, we're still keeping our injects going. Infestation pit. I'm a little bit worried though that we didn't just target this. Like, we killed this base for pretty much free. We could have run around and then killed this for free as well, because he would have been bringing his army down here to deal with it, not realizing that that's just only one part of the equation. It's got a lot of medevac. The medevac count is not being lowered, which is also a huge issue because it allows him to have a lot of mobility, and when those Marines actually want to start crossing the map, you might have a hard time actually killing them because they're going to be healed up by the bucket load thanks to... Yeah, it's cute. Thanks to the amount of medevacs he's got. This is like a thought exercise. 5k, add this 5k, like take this 5k away from your lost resources, right? And take his like 1.5 away from his, and it would show that you're actually in a really good spot. If you spent this right now, if you could spend this right now, I think you 100% win this game. If you had more than enough bases to just have no money left, I think you could honestly swarm this with Ling, swarm this with Ling, and whichever side his army goes to, you just swarm it with Ling Bane and end this thing once and for all. We have no vision on the map, by the way, which is a real problem too. He seems very turtly, which is great and all, but also we don't want to get him in a position where he could sort of walk to here with like 10 siege tanks, siege us up, and we're absolutely stuffed. I don't know why he's gone Thors of all things as well. It seems like a really weird choice. But I am a bit concerned that we have no vision, and he's going to max out before us. Oh, here we go again, and that's, oh my god, just cleaned him up. I think you honestly do go for this straight into here and then just max out again. This is 100% doable, and I think the thing is right now you're taking decent enough trades that it's working really well. I'd love to see these happening since we're actually in Hive Tech now. But also, if the next attack gets held really well, have you got a plan for how to go ahead from there? I'd love to see him actually just like barracks up here and have some tanks in here. You could always Nidus as well. This tank doesn't have, its range only reaches to here. So you always have that option as well. I did see you were using, you've got an overseer here. So always possible to just literally make overseers, make changelings, and just go for it. Yeah, we're deleting the base again, we're deleting all the workers. Just kill everything and leave. Look at him, he's got nothing. It's just a bunch of Marines, which honestly shouldn't pose... Oh. Alright, that was a really bad trade, I feel. We got the little clumps of Marines that were sitting out here, but the main clump of Marines did amazing damage. he's absolutely running on empty here. So way you can deal with this, Ultralisks will do the job. Provided we're not attacking like crazy and just like moving everything in one direction. This is what I didn't want, right? We're going to get lured in. All the Lings are going to get killed basically for free. Look at the sustainability of the Marines, right? With all those medevacs there, they held on very well. Luckily, he just stood and fought this. He didn't have any thoughts to move away or get out of there or anything like that. If this army had come in one proper clump, like Ultralisks right at the front, and you move through, this is a much better fight as well. We're getting 3-3. Terran's got 3-3 as well, which is probably the reason why his fights are starting to really hurt. We know he's got this base as well, so I'm not sure why we're not just attacking it instead. How do we keep making a game out of this? I don't understand. Our bank's starting to dwindle though. We've got a lot of workers that aren't actually working. This queen has not been injecting for ages. This queen has not been injecting for ages. We've dropped all our injects as well. So now what we run the risk of, right, is just actually bleeding ourselves out into oblivion because we do not have the bank that we had, right? This is where Terrans get us, right? Because we keep taking these fights and we're like, oh, we're so close to winning, we'll just pump a little bit more into it. And then we end up losing because we pumped in, like, we trickled in Lings to the point where we couldn't actually hold back their attacks, and then we end up stuffed. Again, we have no creep spread. The spines are a nice idea, but the queens have a lot of energy. If you're not going to inject, at least spread creep so you have that 1-2 sort of screen window worth of protection for your bases. Because he could still easily just come in here with like 20-30 Marines, stim, absolutely blast this, and at the same time blast this as well. His first multi-prong attack didn't really do too well, but it doesn't mean the next one's not going to get you. And now he's just going Banes, bloody mines, right? He's figured out what you're doing, he's going mines, clever. Mines will deal with this. There's no way you're breaking into the space as well, but you've come here, you're going to clean this up for basically free. Yeah, here we go. Wow, and you stayed in for 10 minutes and killed everything. Okay, that's what happened. I just want to have a look. I think for the most part that was pretty good. I really think like you got a grip on most of what was going on. As I said, the opener was cleaner than probably what I expect from someone that's not even 3k yet. So all things considered, I think that was very well done. I feel like just seeing that you looking up into the corner and seeing like the 6k resource bank and no gas should switch on for you, that you can afford to take some geysers and drone them up and then start bringing like real heavy hitting units into the mix a bit earlier, like Ultralisks, like lurkers, etc. Having lurkers will actually absolutely shred Marines, especially if you put them outside his base. He's absolutely not going to engage you there. No chance that he's going to engage you there. So I think that's pretty much it. I think you did all the things right. I would just be very concerned about him getting onto your side of the map because there was no vision, as we discussed. The creep spread wasn't there at all. Feel free to just pump a bunch of overseers and work like that. Use changelings to find vision where you need it. But yeah, all things considered, I think that was very good. That was very good for sub 3k. Absolutely.